Hello, it is with great pleasure that I present the videos on the MasterJakeStudios channel, and you would be aware that my main goal on the channel is to entertain you. I want to put a smile on your faces. However, with the recent establishment of the anti-trolling law in New Zealand, I understand that some of my more colourful and explicit language and content in my videos may have not come off in jest, and more so in an offensive manner, almost like an internet troll. Therefore, it is only sensible that I watch my words for this video, and just to be on the safe side, abolish all explicit content from my channel and this video. I do this for the educational aspects of the channel, for people who may have encountered trolls in New Zealand, and everyone who wants a better MJS, but mostly for the New Zealand government. And so it is with child-friendly happiness and educational value that I present to you the new child-friendly MJS. A fun-filled ride of all ages, safer communities together. Ka kite anō. For the young children who are eager to learn about the daily wonders of life, it's important they get to enjoy it. Some children love to play games to enrich their learning, so put 2 and 2 together and not only will you get 4, but you'll also get some games that are about learning. Educational games teach us from a young age about many things, from maths to mechanics to exploration, the wide world and even cultures. It's amazing because so many of them are really fun. The best educational games are not just the only ones that stick with us from young to old, but also the ones that any person of any age could enjoy, despite the game having been made for younger children. Which is why I am obliged to present to thou my top 10 educational games. It is an odd topic, but some of you do have your detentions to attend to, so I suggest you listen up, take notes, and Bernie, sit up straight.
Number 10!
Lemonade Stand was one of the most popular games at my intermediate school because it taught everyone how to set up a business, manage supplies and budget, and change according to let's try that again, but with the real facts. Lemonade Stand was one of the most popular games at my intermediate school because everyone was in a competition to sell the best lemonade. That's how it works. I mean, the simple flash game allowed you to choose how much ice, sugar, and lemon you put into your lemonade, but also how much of each you were supposed to put in. That was the question. Some customers would walk by and think your lemonade was disgusting, meaning you had to adjust the recipe. There were a lot of people at my school just sharing around a secret recipe that would give you the best sales in the game. Then it was shared online and everyone became lemonade wizards. And then not only that, you had to buy more supplies every time that little number over there neared the big nil. It's a really simple game, but it takes a lot of good thinking to get an idea of how to manage your little lemonade stand well. And it also gives you a realistic idea of how to run a small business. But it doesn't have all the gritty little things that come later, like paying taxes, with the exception of those who work at Starbucks, which is just great.
Number 9!
In a submersible, an underwater explorer must swim amongst coral through the depths of the ocean and brine, solving mysteries of the deepest parts of the ocean. I mean, honestly, spiders already have enough trouble getting out of the bathtub. I, for one, have enough trouble getting out of the bathtub as well, or even into one if it's winter. So you can imagine how hard it'd be to just drive a submersible into the ocean. And yet exploring the ocean is such a calming idea. Treasures of the Deep for the original PlayStation covers so many famous areas of the ocean. You search well into the Mariana Trench, then scavenge the crash site of a Boeing 747. Oh, that's a bit morbid. There's even a part where you explore the Bermuda Triangle, but that mission's hard to find.
Good joke, man, good joke.
The aquatic exploration of this game is breathtaking. You find treasure, cap oil leaks, save plane crash victims, and you can even be attacked by the sharks, which does make the game literally breathtaking. Cause you might hyperventilate knowing that Sydney shark's on your back chomping away at the rear end of your submersible, wondering if you're gonna end up dead on a journey that was meant to be a nice little excursion, but now it's gone horribly bad. You trying to recover ancient gems in Puerto Rico, and now a corpse flopping without oxygen at the bottom of the ocean. But that's Treasures of the Deep for you.
Number 8!
Oh, who loves a bit of math nowadays?
The good old 2 times 3, a dapper 7 times 9. Oh, how about the finest 12 times 12 any lass hath seen on this planet? They say love levels all inequalities. Well, that didn't help with my algebra test now, did it? Math Blaster. Loads of peeps played this game. Loads of them. A game where you save your little blue space friend by solving math questions. Now that's cool, but fueling the ship by managing to correctly answer 2 plus 0. Now I think I know what NASA was missing all along. Had they known that a little bit of addition could power a rocket, they'd be on their way to Jupiter, those lads. Math Blaster's short but simple questions definitely challenged the young ones, but it did a good job of just encouraging kids to practice the basic facts, and each time you did it well, you were rewarded by blasting trash in space, because some people just can't clean up after themselves. Not to mention later on your journey you try to catch raindrops with the correct answers on them, then you float up large crevices, then fight off the enemy spacecraft, all with the power of math. So to anyone who waggled a one-finger salute at maths in school, guess who's conquered the space race now? 5-year-old me.
And you can't do anything about it because you're dead! Number 7!
Here's one for the biology gang. Oh my god, herboglobin. Immunotech was developed by a university for high school students to learn about the immune system and immunology. So you control this one nanobot, that's a really small bot if you're wondering, inside a teenager who suffers from this one disease that stops the immune system from working completely. This nanobot, which you are controlling, fights off bacteria and infections by looking around the blood cells for threats. Then as the levels progress, you get to encounter more viruses to fight off. So basically, you're training an immune system, which is why Immunotech gets a place on this list, because it's actually really helpful to learn about the immune system, an aspect of your body that fights off infections and threats. With a game like this, that's both fun and useful, just gives you a good idea of what goes on in the body. Just be thankful the game isn't called Menstrual Attack. And sorry, I can't really go into sciencey mode on this game because I'm not an expert on all of this here. I don't know, biology never grew on me. I didn't have a bond with chemistry either. Physics had more of an impact on me, put me into full swing, shall I say.
Number 6.
Time for physics to step forward and lay down some sick heat energy. You know what I'm saying, bruv? Super Solvers, Gizmos and Gadgets, developed by the Learning Company and played by young budding engineers. I love this game. One of the reasons was because of the hilarious villain Morty Maxwell, who might be related to Andrew Maxwell, Kyle Maxwell, that one killer with the silver hammer Maxwell. He just looks like Eggman, and I think that's cool. Gizmos and Gadgets focuses on you trying to beat Morty Maxwell in races by building vehicles out of parts you find in this massive warehouse. Building was the most fun part actually, because you find random parts around the warehouse, you learn facts about air resistance, drag, and propellers, and then use that information to build your own vehicle. It was pretty brilliant. On the way you get super fun puzzles about mechanics like levers, cogs, and pulleys, sometimes learning about different types of energy, like electrical energy, heat energy, chemical energy. At a young age, a lot of the many facts you learn can soak in, and they'll definitely assist you on the engineering degree you apply for 14 or so years later. Maybe at university you'll see a student equivalent of Morty Maxwell you become sworn enemies with. He wants to race you in a plane competition. So you two begin collecting spare parts around the warehouse, you do your research, slave away at this contraption for nights, create this beautiful aircraft, the GEFR 675 Nexus LSD, or some fancy math like that. And then you both take off. He's racing ahead of you because his plane body creates less drag in the air. You feel like your hard work has been wasted. He's racing ahead. You could not be more devastated as you accept your fate as a low-tier coleslaw muncher. Then, something amazing happens. A seagull flies into the front propeller of Morty's plane, causing a distraction for him as he flies off course and into the nearest cliff edge, smashing his vehicle into a billion pieces. You have claimed first place, and whilst you may no longer be able to rub your victory in Morty's face, you will be able to rub your victory in Morty's place.
Number 5!
Dr. Kawashima's Brain Training, what an absolute classic. For the Nintendo DS and 3DS, these games were surprisingly popular, developed by Japanese neuroscientist Dr. Ryuta Kawashima, as you'd expect. How often do you hear about intensely educational brain training games being this popular? This game is meant to test how old your brain truly is, whether it's ahead of its real age, or maybe a bit too underdeveloped. I personally would like to see the cast of Jersey Shore have a go, but that's just me. Or maybe Joey Essex. I don't know, it's the number thing, innit? There's also a polygon face instructing you on the many puzzles you can play, like Sudoku puzzles. Oh, I love a good Sudoku puzzle. Not really. I have a version of Sudoku on my old phone called Funny Number. Ahahaha, so funny! Some tests require you to answer math questions quickly, except this time it isn't in space. Or you might have to say the color of text that will mislead you because they might say the word red, but the color will actually be blue. Ah, tricky this one. Some parts even teach you about how the brain works. I can do that. It's a squishy grey thing in your head that tells your body when to eat. That's how it works. Dr. Kawashima's brain training offers so many different tests for you to, well, train your brain. You can take your time with it. It's just a bit of puzzly fun. The soundtrack even got into the Smash Brothers jukebox, which I guess is a sign, albeit a small one, that this game really was quite a key one that sold well during the days of the DS. That and Nintendogs.
Number 4!
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? One of the world's most pressing questions still has yet to be answered, so we rely on our team of young budding detectives to try and solve a mystery that has been perpetrated by a criminal called Carmen Sandiego. I mean, it's not the most reliable team to work with, but hey, they're willing to explore the world, asking the question, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Haha, there's your problem, you're working for Acme. The series started off as a history and geography based game, but then started branching out into English and maths. But I think the history and geography games were a little bit better, because they really did suit the great question, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? There was even a TV show based on this game for a while, and they did this bit on New Zealand where there were loads of sheep. Of course they would. Throughout the game you find facts about different areas of the world. Use these as clues when you talk to people, bringing you closer and closer to this final culprit, who happens to be in Australia. And surprise surprise, it turns out that it is indeed Carmen Sandiego. Which does help you answer the question, where in the world is Carmen? The game's clues are also quite clever as they drop subtle hints to work with. For example, it might be the keywords refined and crude if the place you have to go to is an oil rig. With puns coming out the belt, Milton Jones and Trail Mix Blazer are going to have a field trip with that one. Deemed very popular for its time, the location of Carmen Sandiego may still be a mystery, worth solving right now. Where could she be? In Malta? Budapest? Watanabe? Lanviapul Gwengilgog U Queer Drob Ulandis Ilio Gogogok? There's only one question to ask. Where in the world is Carmen? Humongous Entertainment provided humongous amounts of entertainment. A lot of them were super fun point and click adventures. One of them was based on Blue's Clues, which might have been one of my first PC games. And then I remember the Freddy Fish series, the one about the talking fish. No, that's not quite it. But one marvelous character stands high above the others. It is no one other than Putt-Putt. Featuring a talking purple car that travels to the moon and back and still has enough time to save the zoo. The Putt-Putt series may still be a primary pranking gift to send to your friends over Steam, but for those who played it, and that covers a lot of people, we all know he still holds a special place in our hearts. It's all about the talking cars. No, that still isn't quite it. The point and click genre is a fading cause. I'd love for it to come back because you can just click on objects and watch them interact with you. The game might sometimes drop a cheeky fact about animals every now and then, and maybe another fact about science, or something like that. Plus there's a super catchy intro song. You can pretend it's cringeworthy, but this is more than just a song. It is an international anthem that could heal everyone on a global scale. It could stop wars. It could bring peace to all nations. No one wants to argue with a singing zoo.
The animals we feature,
No one never eat you. We sing so very sweet to you.
welcome to the zoo.
Zoo, zoo.
With the kangaroos, and the tigers too. Welcome to the zoo, zoo, zoo.
Number 2!
The Oregano Trail. Hang on, that's wrong. The Origami Trail. No, that's wrong as well. The Octagon Trail? The Orgasm Trail? The Original Trail? Oh, I know! The Oregon Trail was made by a school teacher who wanted to teach his history class about life as a pioneer on the Oregon Trail, so he made this game. It was a little bit glitchy, but it was still immensely popular at his school. I made a game at school once with a friend of mine. It was called Tornado Run. Totally got me loads of new friends that day. That's a lie. No one likes a game that's more dysfunctional than the Hilton sisters. Anyways, back to the game that's actually good. The Oregon Trail was deleted at the end of the semester, and only the source code was printed out. But then the MECC rebuilt it with that source code and added more events and the consequences to make the game similar to an interactive experience. In the game you play as a wagon leader, guiding some settlers from Missouri to Oregon. Wait, so there are other states other than New York and California? You can pack and buy food, weapons, ammo, and supplies to take with you on your journey. You can also be encountered by wild animals, or even starve to death. R.I.P. Josef von Usenwald. The game is absolutely stunning. I mean, right now it may not look like anything stellar, maybe a little bit primitive. Okay, it's very primitive, but from a personal standpoint, I'm impressed by how good a job this game does of teaching its students about pioneer life on the Oregon Trail, and it was basically the standard survival game before the standard survival games. #1! Chain reaction contraptions are amazing, as you might have seen in my last countdown. The Rube Goldberg machines just go on and on with whatever gadgets you wish to continue them with. Dominoes, marbles, electric appliances. And what better way to bring that to the table than the Incredible Machine? The Incredible Machine helped inspire creativity and had me amazed at this idea that you could put so many things together to make a machine that might say switch on the blender or get the basketball in the hoop using anti-gravity pads, conveyor belts, and balls. In this game you put so many different things together and it just goes toward this one goal. And with the brilliant options for changing the environment, so you can make it a space place or you can make it a history museum, there are a lot of options for you to choose from. In fact, you can even experiment with the physics engine, play around with the air pressure and gravity. It causes things to work differently, which I think is what I like. As a child, these contraptions were the absolute bomb. Then if you want a challenge, you can solve puzzles the game made for you to solve. Yeah. Some of them are just basic, put gadget here to just finish the contraption puzzles. Some will really just have you pulling your hair out to just try and figure out how on earth the machine works. Yeah, don't do drugs, kids. Play Incredible Machine. It's a healthier addiction. Building Rube Goldberg machines gives you a lot of choices, which run as far as you want your contraption to go. And this series does that, which is why it's good, y'all. I am MasterJakeStudios, and I promote an end to a very kid-friendly, non-explicit, and educational video with a very enchanting musical number. Sing along if you want, kids. Alright, let's make sure that you can get ready for this chicken. Ah! Ow! Ah! 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 Did you all like the video? Yes! Do you want to see more? Yes! Then will you subscribe? No! Oh, okay then, your choice. If you want to see more of my countdowns, you can click the link on the right. If you want to see a review series called Blue Shelled, click the one on the left. And if you want to see a channel called Challenges Approaching, which I'm part of, then you can click the link in the red circle. All my social media is in the description, and I think that's about it. To clear things up, I haven't actually abolished all explicit content from my channel because the New Zealand government contacted me and asked me to do so. No, that's just all for satirical purposes. I just did that thing at the start just for a bit of a laugh, and of course I'm not going to keep the reindeer ears on, so that's going nowhere. Right, I took them off. My channel is in pristine condition. I can assure you I don't have to worry about any New Zealand government handling my channel.